I pulled these from my vault. My vault is really a shelving unit, okay? Don't get excited, I don't really have a vault. Okay, I'm sitting out here being spooky in my big cloak with my ferns on it. I guess we could take this off. Hello, welcome. I am Mare. We are sitting out on my patio where it is a bit chilly out here because it is not sunny now. Started out sunny. Now it's overcast, which means it's cold. I really need mittens, but I can't have mittens because we are going over my favorite green palettes. So I use this time of year as an opportunity to clean everything out in a way. Also, declutter maybe, perhaps. I've decluttered enough where I pretty much have everything that I want to keep though. So, Jeffree Star got famous with his vault, right? The pink vault. Well, I have a black vault. It is a black hole of all the makeup I have bought in the last 5 years doing YouTube. So we're calling mine the Black Vault because it is the black hole where all my makeup goes to die, but not really because I keep going through it and cleaning it out and pulling things out that I love. This palette that I am wearing right now, I actually love. I love the way this eye look came out. Wearing a crazy green lip because why not? I can blame St. Patrick's Day. I am wearing the Nomad Ireland Wild Atlantic Way palette. Palette number 1. Probably my most recent green palette. I've not purchased any green palette since this one last year because I have been on a low buy. I did not buy the new Nomad palette that came out. Shocking. I am being very, very careful with what I'm buying and when. I currently get PR from no brands. So anything you see, I have purchased on my channel. If I get any PR, you guys will be the first to know because I will be over the moon excited. I get zero PR. I am loving using what I have. I just had like a shift over the past couple years. The first few years I was doing YouTube, I was buying everything, every palette that came out. I'm like, gimme, 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 gimme. And then you just get like, I think I feel a sadness when I see all my palettes, how pretty they are, and they're just sitting in boxes. They're not being loved and enjoyed and used. So that's why I'm going to be doing makeup like as much as I can. Welcome if you're new here. I am Mare. I've been talking for 4 minutes. You're like, who the hell are you? I am a retired makeup artist, esthetician, nail tech, and hairstylist. Now I live on a mountain in the middle of nowhere where I have chickens and ducks that are very loud. They are outside eating. They're very happy. Let's start going through these green palettes. I have, how many do I have? I don't know. Should I count? I'm going to count. You'll know what you're in for and how much, what kind of snacks you should get. Perhaps a lunch or dinner, depending on when this is going up. Oh, it's one of my favorite numbers. 18. I have 18 green palettes. Okay, so I showed you the Nomad Ireland Wild Atlantic Way. I believe this is still available. Now, that being said, I would say 7/8 of these palettes you can't get anymore, which kind of sucks. I pulled these from my vault. My vault is really a shelving unit, okay? Don't get excited, I don't really have a vault. Although I do have a big double door closet thingy in my garage. Let me know if you think I should actually make a Jeffree Star style makeup vault. It'd have to be in my garage. Which is good because it never gets too hot in there and it never gets freezing cold. It's like, it would keep everything very fresh. Because it never gets really hot or cold in there. Okay, anyway. Next one, Lethal Cosmetics, Berlin, Germany. Love them. I love Lethal. This is not a very green themed palette other than the packaging. It's called Evergreen. It is not super green, but the greens that are in here, I included this because I love them so much. So here's the palette, but I love these greens, especially this one. Herbivore, Fauna, and Wilderness are the greens. And then you have Nightless over here, which is kind of, it's kind of like a really dark teal, honestly. But these. But you also have this kind of crazy neon yellow green and then this weird one that's kind of it's a multi-chrome, but it's got like some green and gold. I'm trying to see if I can get the shift in it. But these, very cool. So this is really green in name, but I do love this color story. I think the color story is amazing. Like doing this crazy pop of like a magenta with greens is cool. Doing these blues with greens, doing the yellows with greens, the yellowish greens. And then there's this very strange multi-chrome over here that's almost like it's a really pretty multi-chrome. I didn't put a whole lot on my finger, but I don't want to be swatching everything, so it will be a mess with 18 palettes. So Evergreen, I don't know if you can still get this one. I'm not going to do a whole, here's all the palettes you can still get, and here's all the links. None of these are affiliated. I pulled these from my vault. My vault is really a shelving unit, okay? Don't get excited, I don't really have a vault. If you see one you like, go online and search, because if there's a palette that you're like obsessed with, you could probably find it on Poshmark or Mercari or something like that. Let's pull out the two Beauty Bays at once. So I have Earthy and Wilderness. So these are the two Beauty Bay palettes. Wilderness is green, but it's Wilderness. So it's got this row of all the reds. It does have, it's very green heavy through this row and that. You have these kind of like yellowish greens in here, like Leaf is a very yellow green. And you can tell in this palette, everything I used is all the greens. You can see the divots in them. I've used the greens quite a bit. I have not used this bottom row, so I think I'm going to keep this palette out so I can do a look with these, because I was just saying I'm loving like reds, browns, and oranges together. I know it's fall themed colors, but I don't care. This one is so good, and I just found this. I'm thinking of doing something with this, because Earthy, now that's a green palette. I don't know if they still have this one, but if you like greens, Beauty Bay is affordable, and I actually really like their formula. They are Robert Welsh approved also. No green collection would be complete without the Dirty Martini by Glamlight. Remember when this came out? This is kind of like my favorite green palettes. Let's stumble down memory lane. When Glamlight did the margarita and the wine, and I have used this. She's a little messy. Dry Vermouth, clearly one of my favorite shades to use. These two down here. Not so much like gin and classic, like these weird blue teals. Haven't used those, but I have used the greens. This is another interesting color story because they didn't go for straight green. There's 6 shades out of the 15 that I would call very green. Crisp is kind of a green multi-chrome. That one right there, so 7. All right. I have mixed feelings about that one, this one, and that one. On the Rocks is okay. It's kind of an icy blue-green. But these, I have questions. Those could have maybe been some other greens. I guess they're all right. Maybe we should do a look with Mix It Up and Garnish in that and see if I could do some like green blue look with this. The colors I like in that palette, I really like. This is a good palette to explain how I went on low buys and how I decide to not buy palettes. What the rooster said. I look at a palette when it comes out. I look at palettes that come out through a very critical eye where I look at it and I say, how many of the shades in this palette would I never wear? That's the trick. Don't look at a palette and say, oh my God, I would wear the hell out of all those shades. I would wear the hell out of all those shades. Look at the palette very critically. If you're trying to go on a low buy like I've been, and I've been very successful at it, I think. Compared to what I used to be, I am very successful at it. There may be 4 shades that I think are stunning. But am I going to spend the money and have a palette sitting on my shelf to wear 4 shades? So then if those 4 shades, they were just mind-blowing, I couldn't live without them, I would look at my other palettes and say, do I already have colors that are similar enough to these that I don't need to get this palette for this? And the answer is usually yes, unless it's some amazing shade, in which case my next step is to go to like something like Notoriously Morbid or other companies that make singles. Can I buy a single of that shade in that palette that I feel like I can't live without? Because I don't need to buy that whole palette to get that one shade. So that's how I do my palette chooses now when new palettes come out, if I'm going to buy it or not. I look and I say, would I wear all the shades in this? I can honestly say the Just a Taste in Bitten by Gourmand Girls and Curst Cosmetics did Just a Taste, and Gourmand Girls did Bitten. I love all the shades in those, and I have worn all the shades in both palettes, I think, at this point. I have used every shade, and I do love all of them. There's, I think, in one of the palettes, I went, this one shade is kind of my skin tone, but I could use it to blend. So that's how I do this. Now, this palette, looking back, I love the whole, I don't love martinis as much as I love the idea of martinis. Are you one of those people? I love the idea of a martini, but the drinking them, not so much. I probably would have looked at this and said, oh my God, I love it. And then I'd go, I would never wear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of the 15 shades I may never touch. I probably don't need that palette. But back when it came out, I got the set that had all of them in it. Anyway, so that's just a little tip on your cutting down on your consumption, because you're going to see all my old palettes here. That's why I don't have a lot of new ones to show you guys, unless people want to start sending me PR. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Sun's coming around. I had to get this because this was out years ago, good for 12 months, but I've never used it. We're going to talk about me using palettes I've never used also in really quickly here in a minute. This is Sugar Drizzle Cosmetics, and this is MILF. Man, I love frogs. My mom was crazy about frogs. It kind of started as a joke, but then everybody started buying her frog stuff. And it's funny because Man, I Love Frogs isn't even so much a green themed as it is spring. And it doesn't have any mattes in it, which is why I haven't used this palette. Also, I haven't used this palette because I'm kind of like emotional about it because of my mom. I just see this, a frog wearing glasses is my mom. So it's a little like, the first time I dip into this, it's going to be like, I'm just going to be thinking of my mom big time. But I can't believe I've never used this palette. Well, I am done over here saving things for special occasions. I am wearing all my clothes that I save for special occasions. I wear dresses around my house sometimes just because I'm like, I'm wearing it because I feel like it. I'm wearing a dress right now, actually. This is a sundress I'm wearing. And I'm wearing this Restyle cloak over it. And yeah, I'm not going anywhere right now, but I'm wearing a dress and a cloak because I feel like it. I might as well wear it. Walk around your house wearing a dress and a cloak. No one will judge you. So, no longer am I saving palettes for a special occasion. This baby's going to get used. It's going to also, you're going to see that one show up in my favorite spring palettes again, and we're going to do a spring look with that. This is one of my most treasured palettes of all time. And I've used it in 2 or 3 videos now. Looked at it again last night and I said, I need to use this even more. I want to wear this every day. This might be in my palettes. If I could only keep 10 palettes, it may be in there. This is Adept Cosmetics, which is very pricey. I know a lot of people cannot get Adept. The Seahorse palette by Adept, I did an unboxing of it. I have not used it ever because it's so pretty that I'm like, I haven't even ripped the plastic off the front of it. It's so pretty. I'm like, I'm scared to like use this. Last night I pulled it out and I'm like, I'm going to start using this palette. I'm going to start using it because, you know, what good is it? Like I have it and I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's so pretty, but I want to use it. So that one you will see in my spring ones, but this is based on Arrow. And this is probably one of my all-time favorite palettes. You could tell I've really dipped into the greens in here. I have used all of the shades in this, and I absolutely love this palette. This is probably like a... I should try to pan this year. I love it so much, but I'm scared. See, I don't want to pan it because then it's pretty and it's gone, and they don't make this anymore. They made it in the... Adept is great, but man, if you like a palette of theirs, I know it's expensive, but grab it because it'll be gone. Okay, I have 2 different... Glam Light palettes. 2 more. Glam Light is good with this stuff. 2 Glam Lights. Ruh-Roh Raggy, the Scooby-Doo palette, has a lot of purples in it, but I love the combination of the purples and the blues and the greens in this. Obviously, I have used this. I've done a look with this. I'm doing more with this. I love this. Also good spring shades right here. Very springy. They're very me spring. I've used this one a couple of times. I really, really like it. We'll be using more. This is funny that this is probably one of the greenest, like coolest green palettes I have. And it's another one where I haven't used it because it's too cool looking. And now I'm like, I really need to use this. I think I'm going to save it till the fall though. But it's the Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy Krueger palette. Shifty cover, and here's the inside. So it's more like greens, but like they're the grungy greens. They're the browns and the, you know, the greens going into the browns. 5 out of the 10 are greens, green based. And then Killer looks like this gold. It actually has a green shift to it. Oh yeah, there's a green shift in it for sure. I want to do a look with this, but I just don't know what to do with it. It's going to be a mega grunge look with this. This one is another one that I saved because it's like, well, they made this and now they're not making anymore. It's another Sugar Drizzle. Paint me green and call me a pickle because I'm done dealing with you. And yes, that's the name of the palette. And it's a little 6-pan, and I love this, and we need to do a look with this because I don't know why I haven't 4 out of the 6 colors are green. So here it is. This is also, I'm glad I kind of held on to this. This is also a good spring palette. So we will be doing a springy look with this. I'm going to be doing lots of springy looks over here this year, which I've never done before. In 5 years, I've never gone crazy with like, let's do tons of spring makeup looks, but I really want to now. I'm really excited because I found so many spring palettes. Betty Jean, Baddie Bean, just today. I don't know when this is going up, but it is Wednesday as I'm recording. She just put up favorite floral theme palettes from her collection, and I'm going to link that in the description if I remember. Hopefully I will remember. That looks really fun. I'm going to watch it when I'm done recording. I can't wait to watch that. Saving some of the best for last. This one you should still be able to get. So this is probably my all-time favorite green palette that I have purchased, honestly. Feeding Frenzy. Because this is the greenest green palette. If you like green, look, this is green. This is your green palette. I have used this. I love the formula. This is handmade. The whole thing is handmade. The stickers are actually cut out and stuck on here by hand. And it's a magnetic pan, so you can move things around or pop things out or do whatever you want. And this is from the Dandelions. And I just think this is my favorite one. I think this is my absolute favorite. It has everything. It has everything. But there's not a really, really bright neon in here, but there's this one right there, and there's that are nice and light. But, oh my God, I have used this. I've used every shade in here, and I absolutely love it. Can recommend. I will try and link that below. I'm pretty sure he still has that one. Throwback to a little over a week ago, maybe a couple weeks ago when this goes up, but I did a defunct makeup brands look. I want to start doing that more. What do you guys think? I want to start doing more defunct makeup brand looks because I have so many brands that are not around anymore. Before we get into those, I want to show you this one. This is another one I've never used, and there's a reason I've never used it. When Loki came out, Notoriously Morbid did a Loki palette. This is my holy grail. I am afraid to touch this. Born to be a King, Surprise, Neil, Glad Tidings, Glorious Purpose. There's a shade called Glorious Purpose. I'm dying. It's a Loki palette. I love it. And the shades are so nice. Now, this is not just green because Loki's colors are like green and gold, but I love this color story. I really want to use this. Should I use this, you guys? I've never used it because I kind of have it as like part of my Loki collection, not my makeup collection, because I love this. I mean, I guess I could use the makeup and then just keep the packaging. But this is one of my, I want to save it for I don't even want to save it for a special occasion. I never want to touch this palette. I want to, it's like if you collect movie memorabilia. We love Loki. We are a Loki household. Love Tom Hiddleston. Love him. And Loki is probably one of my all-time favorite characters that has ever been on any franchise movie thing. So, yeah. If you know me and you know Capricorns, Loki is very our gig. So I love this one. I don't know if I will use it or not because I love it so much. You cannot get that. I got that. This is one of the first palettes I bought when I started uploading regularly. This is another one I have not used, and it's funny because it's a St. Patrick's Day themed one, but it's the Saints, Angels, Sinners. The reason I never use this is it is all glittery, sparkly. It is very spring. It's really pretty. Can't get this one anymore. This was years ago. I got this years ago. There was up and down drama with Saints, Angels, and Sinners and stuff. I was not involved in any of that at all. I think she actually might have sent this one to me. I don't know if I bought this or not. Lucky 7, Horseshoe, Keys, and Rainbows is more of a gold. So there's really only 3 that are very greenish in here, but it is a St. Patrick's Day theme called Get Lucky, so I thought I better include it. Okay, we're getting down to the last ones. This is one of the coolest palettes because the theme, again, along with Loki, this is the Hela. Odin's Eye and Angelica. So Angelica Nyquist, if you didn't know, did a collab with Odin's Eye a while back. I loved the front, and then it's like, ooh, all colorful. I'm not so much into the all colorful part of it. I will say the greens in here are really unique. They're very gold greens. There's only two that are super green, but I wanted to include this. This is another one of my springy palettes, but you have like these crazy like greeny golds in there. It's interesting. I used this palette. I've done a couple of looks with it, but I haven't used all the shades in it. Ouroboros is a really pretty dark green, but I do like the combination of the greens with the yellows in here. So, and the browns. The bottom, the pinks, these, I know those are very Angelica Nyquist, but I could have done without those three right there. Like if I even cover those up, if those were something else. I love these dark plums down here. I love this bottom row. I do not love this row right here. This one's even okay, but I don't know. It's weird. It's her palette, and she created it with Odin's Eye, but those pinky weird shades in here, I would have loved this palette. I would have used it so much more if it didn't have those. I think I just kind of see them and go, ooh, they're just not me, and I kind of get what she was going for. Look at the palette, close it, open it again. The first thing you notice, get rid of it. And it's those bright pinky orangey shades. It's like, ooh, no. Too much, too much, too much. She could even have just taken that whole row out and just had it be a smaller palette. But that's just my opinion, just my opinion, just my opinion. Maybe you love those shades, just my opinion. But that's the reason I haven't really used that so much either. I know, I'm like letting one row of shades throw me all off. I may use it more. It's a very particular color family. Those like mustardy greens, mustardy green, like, okay, think to yourself, how often do you wake up in the morning and go, I feel like wearing mustard yellow and lime green and light green today. I love those shades, and I don't even wake up and go, I feel like wearing a grungy mustardy yellow green look today. Very rarely. I do like it, just very rarely. Okay, so this is an odd one. This is Clarity Cosmetics. This is a weird palette because it's called Cobra, and you would think it'd be really green, and it's really not. I included it because it throws me off, but I do love these shades, and I love this color story. Boa and Arrow is great. Don't Hiss Me Off is great. Viper Active is one of my favorite shades. I have used this. It's hard to see, but I have actually used this shade a couple of times. I've used Bow and Arrow. I've used Don't Hiss Me Off. I really want to do a look with like these blue, the blue and the gold though, because I think it's really cool. And I don't like blue a lot, but that kind of blue I like. This blue I like. This I like that. I love these shades. But Cobra palette, this was pretty well known when it came out. Okay, so now we have 3 that are from companies that do not exist anymore. I have a Colored Rain palette. I just did a look with this on Monday a couple weeks ago. I used this palette. It worked great and it was perfect. It's Wealthy Chic from Colored Rain, and this was the collab I did. We did a collab with Mare and Maddie, Rainbow of Makeup, over on Instagram, and I put a video up here on YouTube a while ago. I'll try to leave it at the end of this, where I did a look with this palette. So Colored Rain, Wealthy Chic. Colored Rain, sadly, no more. So I did just use this palette though. Worked great. Had it for years. Works great. This one is Green Goddess. Have not used. Got a couple of pressed glitters in it. This is from Makeup Maniacs. Also no longer with us, but it's called Green Goddess. And this is going to go in my spring palettes to use. But look at all the greens. Look how springy it is. Like, I bet you kind of wish, some of you kind of wish this was still around, huh? Might be able to find it somewhere online on like Mercari or something. But if you like the light greens, I think that's why I haven't used this one. I don't hate the pressed glitters in it, but you know, I think this palette is like at least 4 years old now. I will use it for spring looks. Because I want to do something, I want to do a peach and green spring look. I think that would be really interesting for me because I never do that. Last but not least, a green lover's dream, a green lover's favorite, BH Cosmetics. Remember these? I still have the cherry one too. Some of the first palettes I bought for my channel too. This is another one. I said I'm not using it because it's too pretty, and now I want to use it. I'm trying to get very close so you can see these, because this is one of the best green palettes. Somebody needs to, some other company needs to like dupe this. Just saying, dupe this and make a new palette. Crunch is such a cool color. I like this. It has just a nice variety of like dark, mid, light. Little light for me, not as much dark, but I do love these two shades on the end. So one of my favorites, I pulled this out of the vault along with the cherry on top one. I don't know if I have any other ones. I think I decluttered and gave away the other ones, but I definitely was going to keep pistachio. So that is it. That is all my green palettes. Some of these I'm setting aside. You will definitely see doubles in my spring palette collection because they fit. They kind of go with both. They're like the greens, but they're like, especially the Man I Love Frogs. I love this one a lot. If I had to pick my favorite though, as I said, it's a strange choose. You might be surprised, but Feeding Frenzy, it's my number one. Number one. It's also my newest. I got this one the most recently, but right before that was the Nomad Wild Atlantic Way. Those I am like 99.9% sure you could still get. So that is the green palette review for you all out there. Let me know what you think of my Vault collection. What would you like to see me use the most? What palettes stood out that you want me to do a look with? Would you like me to do tutorials on any of these? Because people are saying that no one films tutorials on YouTube anymore. So as someone who taught makeup in the salon and worked as a makeup artist, and I have taught friends how to do their makeup, including my dog sitter for a wedding, let me know. Is there anything you want me to do a tutorial on? Is there anything you would like to learn? Is there something that you're curious about? They're like, how do you do that? Or how do you make this happen? Or whatever. I did some back in the day, like when I started my channel, and now I've just been like doing collabs and doing looks because I think they're fun, playing with palettes. But I think I'm going to bring back tutorials maybe a couple of times a week because people say they want them. It's easy for me to do tutorials. I don't find it hard to film. I don't find it challenging, except for when my camera dies. Because this look I filmed as a tutorial, and then I went back and realized that the whole first half of it did not film. Very frustrating. That will not happen again. Anyway, thanks for watching my favorite green palettes. Let's talk in the comments. If you made it this far, post something green. Post a green emoji because we love playing stupid games over here. Play stupid games, win no prizes, except for maybe a little heart from me or a comment. But I do read everything. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I will see you again soon. I am excited to do all the spring palettes. Bring on the spring. It's going to be here any minute before we know it. You're going to blink. It's going to be spring. I'm very excited. Don't worry, I'll still do spooky stuff. Maybe one day a week it'll be spooky spring. I will see you in the next one. Let's talk below about all kinds of makeup stuff. I'm so excited. See you in the next one. Bye.